Yeah, and when I was doing it, Rachel McClish was like new.
Oh yeah.
She was just hit, and women bodybuilders there were maybe 4 or 5 at my competitions back then.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, now there's a lot. It's
exploded. It has.
Yeah.
I walk my mother every day, and some of the, and it didn't sound right maybe, but yeah, I walk her every day. She started off about 2.5 years not being able to walk much. She was diagnosed with MS about 15 years ago, and the diagnosis kind of got to her. So she kind of ended up, being a little more lethargic than she needed to be. Finally got her walking, and she's went from walking about 40 feet 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago to walking about 1,400 feet now. So she's doing much better. But the point good. The point I wanted to make is the change in women over the years has been, it used to be where it wasn't such a popular thing to do, the building and the lifting and everything like that. Now it's changed a lot, and I think it's helping in many ways. And I work on and study a lot about longevity, and so I think in many ways the workouts that we do with Goss Fit help with longevity. They help with prevention of things like hardening of the arteries and strokes and stuff like that, because you help expand the vessel by working your muscles and stuff.
Balance is always a great key
to
work
yes,
on, because
definitely.
That's something that we all need to work on during the older years.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Balance, yep.
Balance.
And it amazes me how many older people are fit now.
And that's a
Yes.
good point.
Yes, I love seeing that. I know we naturally lose muscle mass as we age, but if you keep working on it, you'll retain a lot of it. I know you're not going to retain all of it, and you have to work harder and harder as you age.
Yep.
But still, you can retain a lot of it. And if your body is used to that and you're a more efficient furnace, your metabolism doesn't slow
Right.
down like they say it does as you age. You can fight age. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I was working with a lady who's 96 now for a couple of years, and one of the keys to her continued longevity is she ended up skiing until she was 75, something like that, and then now she keeps active just around the house and so forth. She golfed for a lot longer, like till about 80 some, and now her name is Sina Cook, by the way, but. And now she continues to play bridge 3 times a week with her friends. So she keeps active with her mind and getting out and doing stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yes, it's very, very important. Keep that circulation going, not only just for the body, but for the mind.
Right.
Mm-hmm, that's right. We might as well keep talking about this because it's interesting. Okay. Chocolate is also good for you, by the way.
Yes, it is. And so is the wine.
Yes. So my Aunt Susie insisted on staying in Pennsylvania when all her brothers, not all of them, most of her brothers and sisters moved to Ohio. And after she couldn't stay in her big old house anymore, she went into a home. And it was a nice place. But at Christmas time, we used to go get her and bring her home for Christmas Eve because our family all came together on Christmas. And when we'd first get there, she would kind of not know who we were. But then, it would start firing. And then by the time we got to Ohio, she was naming all the cousins' favorite pies, what should make us for breakfast while we were there, and talk about Uncle John's garden. I mean, it was amazing because we were stimulating all those patterns of memory that all of a sudden it was like she was Aunt Susie again.
Yeah. Right.
And the closer we got to that home when we took her back, the foggier it got. And I kind of think it was her brain protecting her.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it
but
was.
Another thing, she just wasn't using those pathways.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, and muscles are kind of the same.
Yes,
muscles have a memory of their own.
They sure do.
So if you use them, what will happen?
Yeah.
You'll remember.
Yeah. A lot of people think you lose muscle if you're out, maybe not able to train for a couple of weeks. I really don't think so. I think you're really able to bounce back a lot better than that. But you do, their muscle memory does come back. So,
But they say muscles start to atrophy if you don't use them for, 48 hours?
I'm not really familiar with the time frame.
It's surprisingly short amount of time.
But I
though.
know they did a study, something simple in the hospitals. Something as much as standing patients up. Half the patients that they took, let's say 40 elderly patients, and they stood them up every day. And the other half they didn't. Well, the ones they stood up lived far longer than the ones that they didn't stand up because of a little bit of circulation, So continue the movement, they say move, stay active, all that stuff is good.
Right, as active. Yep. And you know what? If it hurts a little bit, that's okay.
Pardon me?
If it hurts a little bit, it's okay.
Right. Because sometimes it takes a while for the joints to kind of loosen up and get moving. And, you get arthritis in your knee joints like I have too. But by lubricating the joints, moving them, you get better function.
We have a guy in our leads group that says that he demonstrates it every time he gives a talk. If you raise your arm like up over your head and it hurts, pretty soon you stop raising it that high. And then pretty soon it starts hurting to the way that you limited it until you really have lost all mobility.
Right.
But if you keep reaching, even though it hurts, it'll lubricate that joint to the point where it doesn't hurt anymore. And that's true.
And it stretches the muscles out so that they're not so bad either.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working a lot on stretching lately, and it's really helped.
And years ago, they didn't
put much of an emphasis.
They didn't, but when by the time I got out of school, they were doing strength training and stretching and aerobic training. All three are equally as important.
Right, and that's where, even though I don't do much yoga myself, the yoga cultures that do yoga have a tendency to live longer because of the stretching and also the way it helps your mind.
Right.
Clear your mind.
And you have to focus, and it's almost like meditating.
Yes.
And speaking of yoga, Beth Chorba just added a yoga class on, I believe it's on Sunday afternoons. I have a schedule. We'll talk about that.
Awesome.
But so I'm going to give you this statistic because it really shocked me. We're going back to divorce now. So divorce rates of first, second, and third marriages. First marriages are 41 to 50%, which is really high. And the number of marriages every year has declined. People are living together. But I think because of insurance purposes, I bet you it's going to start going up again.
Yeah, I think that it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 41 to 50% first marriages. Do you think second marriages are higher or lower?
Twice as likely to get divorced.
60 to 67%.
Okay, yep.
That shocks me. And third marriages, 73 to 74%. Yeah. That means 25% of third marriages work out.
Yeah.
Right. It's the first one is the toughest one,
and yet they stay together the longest.
Yes.
After they go through it,
it gets easier.
It's
yeah.
Easy,
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. But that really shocked me. I thought people would put more of a emphasis on staying together the second and third times.
Yeah, except there's not as frequent, the frequency of children involved with the second marriage and third marriage, I think, is less likely to have children involved. And so quite often parents, and this is a good thing, is they attempt to stay together work things through for the kids.
Right. So have you ever mediated second and third marriages?
Have I? No.
Divorces? No?
No.
Only firsts?
No. Yeah. Well, actually, I have in the custody aspect. Yes, I have. Yeah.
And how'd it go?
It. I didn't notice whether it was better or worse.
You didn't?
I didn't notice.
It wasn't a win-win.
No,
we
he
ended
means-
up with a win-win most of the time. Yes.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
I would think they went through it. They'd know the protocol.
Well, you
it's
protect
sad.
yourself a little bit better the second time. I mean,
Yeah.
you write things down. You have a contract with a person, perhaps, before you get married. So you have a clear definition of expectations. So that's what happens in the second
I would
marriage.
agree. That's true.
After that, then everything is downhill.
Right. So let me, I'm going to read this. This is from the Huffington Post. Data indicates that marriages have lasted longer in the 21st century as compared to the success rate of marriage in the 1990s. Also, experts believe that the current rates trend might go down more in coming years as more and more couples prefer a live-in relationship. That was kind of the opposite of what I thought. But, I think that there's more, there have been two-parent working families for a long time where the man and woman both worked. I mean, that's nothing new.
Yeah.
However, as women become more educated, like right now, there's more women in college than there are men.
Yes.
So as they rise up the corporate ladder or open their own businesses and become entrepreneurs, the equality there is shifted.
Yes.
It's different
Well,
than it used to be.
fact that many people or parties or parents are together but not married still doesn't change the relationship that much and the difficulty of breaking it up. So the non-married couples still have that emotional attachment to the children or child or whatever the case may be. So that's why in our field, domestic relations mediators, it's not just divorce; it's all relationships. So that may have
far-reaching
children involved and so forth. Yeah, or maybe even property involved to divide.
Okay.
Yep.
What state, and I don't have all the states here, I only have to N for some reason. Don't ask me why that didn't print that page. What state up to N do you think had and including N, had the highest divorce rate?
Nevada.
Yes. How did you know that?
I may have heard that somewhere. I'm not sure.
Huh, it's like Nevada is
Yeah.
kind of like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You can go get married.
Yeah.
So easy come, easy go, I
Right.
guess. Huh? And it's
drive-through
What
marriages, drive-through divorces,
Right.
potentially.
There you
That's
go.
kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
We'll make it real easy for you. Come down to Joe's Divorce. And who do you think has the lowest? Wow, that's shocking.
Maine. I don't know.
It looks like the Eastern Seaboard has very low, like 6, most of them. But the absolute lowest is New Jersey.
New Jersey? Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That's 6.1. But Connecticut was 6.7. District of Columbia, this surprises me, is only 6.3.
I think that's pretty good.
District of Columbia. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising.
Well, the most one of the most famous mediators is from New York or New Jersey. He died a few years ago, but I read his book, John Haynes, and I talked to him on the phone once. I was going to actually come out to a seminar of his, and I guess I made a mistake. I didn't make time for it, didn't make it out there, but had to throw his name in there, John Haynes. He's got a good book on mediation, excellent book that I have followed and learned a lot from, John Haynes.
Very good. You know who else has a high divorce rate? Alabama.